Hello everybody to this first Granda special edition location video. Today we are in the inland country area known as Shepherd's Lookout in Canberra. Joining us is someone that has not been on the channel within 3 years, and they're going to actually be my cameraman as well, do some interesting voice narration facts along the way for this video. Without further ado, please give a warm welcome to the person you roughly know on this channel, Agent95. Such a pleasure to have you joining me for this video.
Good to be here. Thank you, Granda.
You're so welcome. Being here right now, what is your overall experience seeking what we're going to be seeing today?
Well, we have been here a few times, but I don't think we've properly had a real look at it. So here we're at the Murrumbidgee River, which is home to like platypus and other endangered species of fish, such as the Murray cod, for example. There are plenty of trails along here that we may not have traversed. I'm looking forward to seeing what new surprises Shepherd's Lookout has for us.
Fantastic. I'm feeling the exact same way too. Now let me remind you, everyone that was standing, as you could see, I am wearing like long pants and jacket because it is going to be roughly 6 to 10 degrees. So for us, it's going to be cool, but we've got the lovely sun shining on us, which is really fantastic. And I think without further ado, let's dive into this lovely landscape scenery.
Perched over the mighty Murrumbidgee River on the edge of Belconnen, Shepherd's Lookout provides one of Canberra's best bush vistas as well as some of their favourite walking tracks. Named after nearby property owners, Shepherd's Lookout is the ACT's northernmost viewing point of the Murrumbidgee River. For thousands of years, this stretch of the river has provided water, fish, yabbies and water birds to the Ngunnawal people, as well as being an important habitat for platypus and the endangered Macquarie perch and Murray cod. Black cypress pine, or Calitris endlicheri, grows here on thin rocky soil, with their winged seeds being a favourite food of gang cockatoos. Walking tracks to Shepherd's Lookout and nearby Ton's Hole are easily accessible from Stockdill Drive, which is about 3 kilometres southwest from Ginninderry. Nestled in the beautiful ACT, Shepherd's Lookout in Canberra offers visitors a breathtaking vantage point to immerse themselves in the natural surroundings of the region. Shepherd's Lookout features panoramic views of the Murrumbidgee River as well as the picturesque Brindabella Ranges. The power lines visible in the distance mark the border between New South Wales and the ACT. Evidence has shown that this beautiful area, once inhabited by the Ngunnawal Aboriginal people, contains stone tool scatter sites that have been discovered over the years. Shepherd's Lookout is a must-visit destination that showcases the undeniable beauty of the ACT landscape. This scenic gem, located in Woodstock Nature Reserve, is a haven for nature enthusiasts, photographers, and those seeking an escape from bustling city life. The scenery is very picturesque and serene. It does feel as though you're miles away from town, but in reality, you're only 30 minutes away from Canberra's city centre and a few minutes away from the residential area of Holt. To get to the lookout heading from Holt, follow the road along Stockdill Drive until you get to a small parking area on the right-hand side. The lookout is easily accessible for most, with the walking trails starting from the car parking area and heading straight up towards the viewing platform, which is around a 250 metre walk. The lookout platform is situated on a steep part of the hill that overlooks the Murrumbidgee River and offers more panoramic views of the Brindabella Ranges. Around half of the track is sealed, however. As you get around halfway up the hill, the track does become a dirt path. It's a relatively easy stroll and it is suitable for most fitness levels. For the return walk, you can go an alternate way which leads you through more narrow bush track through the trees. The track via the trees is a longer walk back to the car parking area, and there are a few other walking tracks available to those wanting to explore the Woodstock Nature Reserve area. The best time to visit will be during the early morning or late afternoon when the light is soft and you can appreciate the stunning views. Sunrise or sunset would be more preferable.
Canberra is the capital city of Australia, founded following the Federation of the Colonies of Australia. As the seat of government for the new nation, it is Australia's largest inland city and the 8th largest Australian city by population. The city is located at the northern end of the Australian Capital Territory, at the northern tip of the Australian Alps, the country's highest mountain range. The word Canberra is derived from the Ngunnawal language of the local Ngunnawal or Ngambri clan who resided in the area and were referred to by the early British colonists as either the Canberry, Canberry or Ngunbra tribe. The capital city was founded and formally named as Canberra in 1913. A plan by the American architects Walter Burley Griffin and Murrumbidgee Griffin was selected after an international design contest, and construction commenced in 1913. Unusual among Australian cities, it is an entirely planned city. The Griffin's plan featured geometric motifs and was centered on axes aligned with significant physical landmarks such as Black Mountain, Mount Ainslie, Capitol Hill, and City Hill. Canberra's mountainous location marks its only mainland Australian city where snow-capped mountains can be seen for much of the winter, although snow in the city itself is uncommon. Canberra's design is influenced by the Garden City movement and incorporates significant areas of national vegetation. Its design can be viewed from its highest point at the Telstra Tower and the summit of Mount Ainslie. Other notable features include the National Arboretum, born out of the 2003 Canberra bushfires, and Lake Burley Griffin, named for Walter Burley Griffin. Highlights in the annual calendar of the cultural events include Florade, the largest flower festival in the Southern Hemisphere, the Enlighten Festival, Skyfire, the National Multicultural Festival, and Summer Nats. Canberra covers an area of 814.2 kilometres and is located near the Brindellabella Ranges, which is part of the Australian Alps, approximately 150 kilometres inland from Australia's east coast. The native forest in the Canberra region was almost wholly eucalypt species and provided a resource for fuel and domestic purposes. By the early 1960s, logging had depleted the eucalypt and concern about water quality led to the forest being closed. Interest in forestry began in 1915 with trials of a number of species including Pinus radiata on the slopes of Mount Stromilo. Since then, plantations have been expanded with the benefits of reducing erosion in the Cotter catchment, and the forests are also popular recreation areas. The urban environments of the city of Canberra straddle the Gunnedah Plain, Monongolio Plain, the Limestone Plain, and the Tuggeranong Plain, also as well Isabella's Plain. The Monongolio River, which flows across the Monongolio Plain, have been dammed to form the national capital's iconic feature, Lake Burley Griffin. The Monongolio then flows into the Murrumbidgee northwest of Canberra, which in turn flows northwest towards the New South Wales town of Yass. Another thing I would like to mention to everyone listening is I actually did a recent podcast episodes with Agent95. One of them is called Reunion and the other's called Reflection. And what we do is we dive into sort of our about YouTubing experiences as well podcasting that we did on our previous podcast show that we did together, amongst of other things. Agent95, what was your, I guess, in depth of what some of the things that viewers are expecting when they listen to these two episodes?
I will admit, when we did these episodes, I did feel I hadn't actually done this sort of thing in a while. It has been 3 years since the last one I did, so it was expected that I'll be a bit rusty. But to narrow it down, we mainly talked about what we did in the last 3 years. We talked about our experiences with autism growing up, how it shaped the people that we are today, and we also we reflected on the last show we did. We discussed the process of it, we talked about the difficulties, challenges, and everything in between.
That's great, and that's something that you will all get to dive to once you're listening, and that is on Live Chats with Granda on Spotify. The Murrumbidgee River is a major tributary of the Murray River within the Darling Basin and the second longest river in Australia. It flows through the Australian state of the New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory, descending 1,500 metres over 1,485 kilometres genuinely in a west-north-westerly direction from the foot of Peppercorn Hill in the fiery range of the Snowy Mountains towards its confluence with the Murray River near Boundary Bend.
The word Murrumbidgee or Murrumbidgee means big water in the Wiradjuri language, one of the local Aboriginal languages. The river itself flows through several traditional Australian lands home to various Aboriginal peoples. In the ACT, the river is bordered by a narrow strip of land on each side, which is managed and named as the River Corridor. This land includes many nature reserves, 8 recreation reserves, a European Heritage Conservation Zone, and rural leases.
Studies suggest a section of the upper river's channels are relevantly new in the geological terms, dating from the early Miocene. The Miocene era being from 23 to 5 million years ago. It suggested that the upper Murrumbidgee is an Arab branch of the Tumut River that once continued north along Mutter Creek when geological uplift near the Adaminaby diverted its flow from Gundagai. Onwards, the river flows within its ancestral channel.
In June 2008, the Murray-Darling Basin Commission released a report on the condition of the basin itself, with the Goulburn and Murrumbidgee rivers rated in a very poor condition, in which fish stocks in both rivers were being rated as extremely poor, with only 13 of the original 22 native fish species still found in the Murrumbidgee River.
The river has risen above 7 metres 23 feet at Gundagai 9 times between 1852 and 2010, an average of just under once every 11 years. Since 1925, flooding has been minor with the exception of floods in 1974 and in 2010, when the river rose to 10.2 metres. In the 1852 disaster, the river rose to just over 12.2 metres. The following year, the river again rose to just over 12.5 metres. The construction of Barinjak Dam from 1907 has significantly reduced flooding, but despite the dam, there were major floods in 1925, the 50s, 1974, and 2012.
The river was once used as a transport route, with paddle steamers navigating the river as far as Gundagai. The river trade declined with the coming of the railways. Paddle steamers last used the Murrumbidgee in the 1930s. To allow the steamers and towed barges to pass, there were opening bridges at Hay, Balranald and Carrathul. When we last came to Shepherd's Lookout, we didn't actually go on any of the tracks. We went west of the lookout, which was covered in many different sorts of trails, and it was overlooking, I think, a sewage plant.
Yes.
But during this next visit, we actually got the chance to go down some of the trails and really explore not just the Murrumbidgee River, but also everything east of it. So what we did was we first went down Wallaroo Spur, and I will admit we did get lost a little bit along the way. We ended up going down another trail that was west of the Leaky Dam, but we eventually found where we were and discovered that we were actually walking along the Murrumbidgee River. So during that time we had lunch at the very end of it.
So where we basically had lunch was at River Descent Tracks. Now, when we got to there, we were hanging about there for a good half an hour, and then eventually we went up some steps that led to this very beautiful lookout, which is actually called Jarley's Lookout. And once you go up there, the view is absolutely mind-blowing. As you see in the video itself, it really shows for what it is.
There are actually several really good views over there, actually.
Yes.
The one at the Shepherd's Lookout itself, the one at Wallaroo Spur, Jarley's Lookout, even from the suspension bridges.
And speaking of the suspension bridges, I found that to be quite a very interesting experience just doing that. I think the atmosphere itself was really great, and we were able to have fun because they were bouncing around a little bit as you were walking them.
I think he was having more fun with the GoPro than anything else.
As you can see in these shots there, we were really able to get amongst really being there in the location itself, which I really think is truly fantastic for future people that go there. We hope that we've inspired you to see this incredible landscape.
There was another thing. We were warned that there would be snakes that were inhabiting this area. We didn't see any, but we did see the signs, so we were always, looking amongst the grass, checking we had the appropriate leggings, the appropriate footwear. But other than the potential risks, it was actually a pretty exhilarating walk. There were challenges, of course, like going uphill, which I think we were almost out of breath by the end of it.
Yes, absolutely. And I would like to also add into that, we saw a lot of different wildlife. There's something that we didn't get to say in the conclusion end of the video, but the wildlife was very beautiful. We saw birds, cows, kangaroos hopping around, and we weren't too sure we were going to see kangaroos because it was sort of unknown where we were going to be stepping each time.
Granda was especially excited to see the kangaroos.
Oh yes, there was a whole group of them, some of them by themselves, and also wallabies too, actually.
Yes.
So we saw one that you see in the video, near the tree, which I think was really good. We got that shot for you all.
I think the closest we've been to a wallaby was the one up on the hill in the forest.
Ah, yes. And I remember that. And I think seeing that, I really appreciate what this surrounding area is about. And when you go see the other places, which I mind you will put here, so if you want to explore the other places, you got Woodland Loop, Nagarang Bulla Loop, Shepherd's Lookout Loop, River Descent Tracks as mentioned earlier. And then there's also one that we've actually got on a pamphlet here called Maintenance Track. Now that's a black dotted line if you're wanting to go check this out, if you don't want to check out the other trails, so to speak.
We're reading the brochure, just so you know.
And I think overall this experience, I do thank Agent95, as you'll hear towards the conclusion, of how much I was appreciative of them coming around with me after all this time. So it must have been a very interesting to sort of get back into it again after all these years away for yourself.
And I also want to thank Granda for directing the shots, because he has had experience with filming and it was difficult to find out which shots would stand out, especially with the sun and everything.
Yeah, so I think we teamed up quite well, and I'm so glad we could experience this together as sort of the first official Canberra video. Make sure to definitely check out the other future videos on my channel. That has been Shepherd's Lookout, and I must admit, I quite enjoyed the atmosphere. In particular, seeing the river was definitely my highlighted experience, so not too bad. Agent95, what was your personal experience about throughout today?
I'd definitely say the river and the lookouts were a plus on this trip. I definitely enjoyed doing the walking and admiring the views, and also taking photos of the dams, the bridges, and everything in between.
I felt that the experience was just walking. We had some steep hills coming back up here to come in this section. In the earlier shots behind us right now, it looks very, very nice too, and a great way where we're actually going to be concluding this video. I just want to say to Agent95 in particular, thank you so much for filming your video pictures that you showed throughout this video, and to also just joining me in the experience after 3 years that you've been away from the channel. It's been so nice to join with you here in Canberra to show this amongst everyone for the viewers.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be back for this.
I will see everybody into my next adventure, wherever it may be, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Take a gander through Granda's socials as well, clicking that subscribe button on his YouTube channel. I also have merch on a website called Redbubble. You can check out by my username Granda94, where it sells all different things such as clothes, headwear, magnets, and alongside of other variety of cool stuff. Always appreciative of all support. Have fun looking through other content of mine and catch you on the next video. Bye everyone!